Peace, love, and abundance to the ancestors. And within this video, we will be channeling and tapping into the energy of Mama Wata. Before we get into this video, I want to give a shout out to my reflection for requesting and guiding me to tapping in and communicate with Mama Wata's energy. Now, let's get deeper into the video. Mama Wata is a water spirit and is known in West Africa, as her origins are believed to date back into the 15th centuries. Mama Wata is visually culturalized in history, as she is known to be seen by many sources, such as the European mermaids, indigenous African water spirits, also known in Hindu, referred to as gods and goddesses. Mama Wata is also deeply rooted into mythological and other traditions, such as the ethnic Mbibiao, Igbo, and Bahamian, and amongst other people and tribes in the southern Nigeria. Mama Wata is the guardian of water and is a symbol of wealth, fertility, and healing. Mama Wata is feared and loved by people who live near water, as the fishermen pray to her for a good catch. There are also stories of Mama Wata where she is known to stalk people, where there would be times where her presence would be discovered by hunters, as the hunters would become very shocked and thrilled of the sighting of her combing her hair and looking at herself in the mirror. When Mama Wata recognizes that she has been spotted, she'll drop all her belongings and disappear into the midst of the waters, as the hunters would take her belongings back to their village. And soon Mama Wata would visit the hunters later in their dreams, as she would demand the hunters to return her property, as she would also make a promise of sexual fidelities, rewarding those who complied with her request. As for those who doesn't comply by her demands, they will be punished. Mama Wata is the mother of the water, also referred to in West Africa known as water spirits. Mama Wata has been described as having the upper body of a woman and the lower body of a fish. Mama Wata is depicted and shown as wearing a snake on her shoulders with long curly hair and wearing foreign indigenous clothing. She usually carried vanity symbols of a comb and a mirror to admire her beauty. Mama Wata is also associated with fortune, fertility, and seduction. Oftentimes the fortune she can bring is often flawed with its own dangers, as the hunters that she will reward becomes obsessed and greedy with her beauty and treasures. Mama Wata is known to punish aggressive hunters and tree cutters. The locals of Nigeria and Benin will witness the water spirits luring the hunters into the water, revealing themselves as mermaids. The locals' imagery was influenced by mermaid carvings, which will appear on the prow of the ships. Sightings of mermaids and Mama Wata was also related to the sightings of manatees, as their fusion of love will also influence personality traits. Within the Democratic Republic of the Congos and Haiti, Mama Wata is also called La Sirene, which in French is known as Siren. The sirens trans back into the Egyptian mythologics as birded women who will seduce sailors with songs and causes them to redirect themselves into uncharted waters, causing them to crash their ships, as the hunters and poachers would try to invade the indigenous people and their land. The water spirits and mermaids were seen as the protector of the sea and oceans, also being related to the spirit and soul of the indigenous people. Throughout the centuries, sirens has been known to have the abilities of seduction. During the transatlantic slave trade era that began in the 15th century and was thought to end in the 19th century, millions of indigenous beings were enslaved and dispersed across the land. In the year of 1518, European ships and foreigners began invading indigenous land, teleporting those that had been enslaved directly into the colonies of Americans. Most captives was imported from modern-day Benin and Nigeria between the time period of the 16th and 19th century. European colonizers exceeded their powers and sent between 10 to 12 million indigenous beings across the Atlantic Ocean, being sold back and forth amongst their land as slaves, as their indigenous people carried little except their beliefs, holding on to their memories and their strength to help get them through such hardship. Some carried Mama Wata with them as a reminder to who they are as to where they originate from. Africa is known to worship her as a river deity. In Brazil and Cuba, she is also worshipped as the sea goddess. Mama Wata is said to drown people, although some survive their watery encounter with her, as they will return with new powers. Many traditions is said to believe that Mama Wata is barren, and that if she gives a woman a child, that woman will become more likely to be wealthy or attractive through her devotion to Mama Wata. This is in reference to Mama Wata's ability as a water spirit who possesses the power of wealth and prosperity. Mama Wata is also associated with Oshun, as Oshun is a prominent deity in the African Yoruba traditions. Mama Wata is also referred to bestowing a child to a woman, as to also being greatly impacted with the abilities of Oshun, as Oshun is associated with rivers, love, beauty, and fertility and abundance, as Oshun is a radiant and sensuous woman adorned with gold and yellow garments. This is similar towards the 9-month pregnancy stage, as the woman becomes more radiant and develops develop a sensual golden glow within the cycle until they give birth. Mama Water and Oshun are both water spirits in the African mythology, as they both represent feminine power and fertility. Mama Water is known as the mothers of the water and is associated with wealth and prosperity. Oshun is the African Yoruba Orisha of the sea and brings prosperity and fertility to those who encounter her. Mama Water is depicted as a human-like creature, as she can also take the form of a mermaid and a snake. Peace to the gods, and like this video and comment what ancestor Orisha should we tap into next. One love.